So my name is Sheldon Paquin. I'm a project delivery manager at the Science Museum Group. That's the group of science museums that includes the Science Museum here in London, as well as the Natural Railway Museum up in York, and a smattering of other science museum locations and things like Locomotion and the Science and Media Museum in Bradford and all the like. All wonderful sites. As a project delivery manager at the Science Museum Group, my job is to adapt exhibitions for international display, which means that I end up working a lot with museums in other parts of the world and figuring out what the needs are of other audiences. So today I'm going to be talking through what we've learned as an institution in terms of what works and what doesn't when using partnerships, when trying to establish international partnerships using projects as a springboard. So hopefully, at the end of this, you'll have an idea of when encountering chicken and egg scenarios, when trying to put together a project with an international museum, or perhaps just an institution that's even in your area, kind of where to make those first steps and how to make that evolution. I'm going to be using a specific case study of Injecting Hope, but I should really preface everything by saying that it took us many years and lots of trial and error to get to where we are. We went through a lot of very bad news in order to get to where we are. So even though I'm going to be talking a lot about our successes, I really want to emphasize that they did not appear without a lot of growing pains as well. And hopefully this can help you avoid some of those growing pains and really be able to embrace establishing those kinds of partnerships for your own institutions. So once we knew what we wanted to do, we then had to approach other partners. This is before we had funding, before we had anything. All we knew was we wanted to do an exhibition about COVID. What's next? So we approached two major partners. The first one in the top picture there being the National Council of Science Museums, which is based in Kolkata in India. That's a picture of the National Science Museum or the National Science Center, sorry, in Delhi. But the National Council of Science Museums is the largest group of science museums in the world. They have 70 different sites. We knew we really wanted to work with them, firstly, because they had incredible capacity. They have a huge resource in-house for their digital outputs. We've worked with them before, so we've seen inside their workshops. We know that they can do amazing things digitally that we just do not have capacity for whatsoever. And we also know they had a really elaborate infrastructure so that they could really take advantage of it going through the whole country. The other major partner that we picked was, on the bottom here, the Guangdong Science Center. This is based in Guangzhou, about 2 hours outside of Hong Kong. The GDSC is the largest science museum in the world, and we wanted to partner with them because they really get the footfall. We knew that between the three partners, that we'd really be able to make something special. We also picked the Guangdong Science Center specifically in China. We knew we wanted to work with a partner in China, but we picked them because as a provincial level museum, they're in that Goldilocks zone where they're not at the local level, where they don't get much footfall, and they're not at the national level where they get a lot of scrutiny from national government and censorship. So they had that really nice sweet spot right in there that we just slide right in, and we're like, we'll take it. So we get to really take advantage of the best of all worlds there. We knew that we could bring things to the table as well because both of these institutions did not have their own collections, and typically they subcontract out their curators, or they take on subcontractors as curators. So we could offer our in-house curatorial team in order to build up a content stream. So we all had something really to contribute here. And because we knew what we were able to offer, we could then put together numbers and actually put together a grant proposal. And so up until this point, we had no funding. We had nothing. All we had was a dream and a promise. And this is what we had going forward, was partners that had agreed in principle to work with us on a project about COVID, and that's it. And that's what landed up getting us our funding, because we were able to put together proper numbers knowing who we were working with. So if you're questioning that chicken and egg scenario of, do we get funding first before the project, before the partners? This is the order that we go in. First your project, then your partners, then the funding, because then it all comes together. It's really easy to go to get sponsorships or fill out grant applications when you really know who you're working with and what you're doing and the potential statistics of what you're doing going forward.